All right, so let me just share my screen a minute. Okay. So welcome to the Gut Health Reset orientation call. I am Melanie Fielstra. I'm a functional nutritional therapy practitioner and a GAPS practitioner. I've been doing gut healing work for the last decade. After bringing my whole family through a gut health reset about 12 years ago, that just transformed our whole family's health. So I've had a lot of time in with both classes and one-to-one clients with this work, and it's really fulfilling and transformative for those who jump in on this gutsy endeavor. It's certainly not necessarily your like average weight loss type diet. It's more of a lifestyle change, and a healing protocol, healing diet is different than just doing a short-term like 2-week weight loss kind of gig. So it's amazing work, and my own healing and the healing of my family is what brought me to this work. What I would love to hear is what brought you here to the call tonight. And following on that, if you could have it any way in your health and life, what would be something you'd really like different? So just inviting you to just share your name and maybe what brought you here tonight. And what would you like to be different about your health and life if you could have it your way?
I can go first. And I'm Kara again. I have, well, I know you, Mel, personally. So I've been interested in gaps and gut healing for a while. And I didn't really have, I don't know. I was never at a point where I am now where I feel like I need it. Like I've always thought, oh, that looks interesting. But now I feel like I'm at a point where I need it just because of the physical symptoms I'm having.
Yeah.
What I would want to be different is to be able to eat anything and not have some odd reaction, not have, like, I lose sleep sometimes depending on what I eat because of the reaction I'm having. So I would like to be able to go out and enjoy something and not have it cause an internal reaction.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm here.
Feeling like food is almost an enemy now rather than nourishment.
Yes. Like I know having a beer will cause me to have heart palpitations and wake up in the middle of the night. But yet I do enjoy one on occasion. So it's like that, we went out for Father's Day and we biked to a brewery, and it was like, well, I want to have a beer. It's hot out, but I know how I'm going to feel later, and I'm not going to feel good. So
yeah, I hear you.
Or even having pizza causes some of the similar symptoms. So I'm starting to notice a trend in things.
Gotcha. Thanks for sharing, Kara.
For me, I've kind of been lurking in like healthy circles, gaps, keto. I've been concerned about my weight climbing, even though I feel like I chronically undereat. And as an adult, I have a growing list of foods that I'm allergic to, whereas as a child, other things that are on the list of things that I am allergic to or reactive to, or one of those things was on my list as a child. And it feels like every time I eat something, I'm just waiting for the reaction, waiting for my body to respond negatively. And I think it's been about 3 weeks now where I felt like I had food poisoning, but my stomach is not back to where it was before the food. I mean, not that it was great, with all of the food sensitivities and allergies, but it's to the point where um, I'm having to. I mean, I don't eat a lot of bread. I bought bread because I needed like something bland. I don't really like bananas. I've got bananas because I needed something bland. Potatoes, just a lot of stuff that I wouldn't normally eat because, you know, those are just not things that I would choose to eat that I keep in my house because
Mhm.
my stomach's not back 100%. And once I was done with all of my ginger ale, I pretty much juiced about a pound of ginger and some lemons, and
Wow.
and now I'm like, essentially making my own ginger ale, just adding like carbonated water to like ginger juice, ice cubes. Um,
Mhm.
so I would, I'm hoping to learn something or have hope of something that will make things better in terms of my digestive system, because I know that like allergies and food sensitivity have to do with the gut,
Yeah.
as opposed to like, well, I was going to say as opposed to the immune system, but the immune system is also in the gut.
In the gut.
Um,
Yes. Hmm.
so, I'm hoping to have hope of something that might help with that, as well as, potentially also lose weight. But what I would like is kind of like what was said before, to just be able to eat anything and not have to worry about what will happen. And I mean, and some of it is digestive distress, but also just like for me, the concern that I'm going to eat another thing that I'm allergic to, and have to, and I mean, and it's frustrating for me because a lot of the things that I'm now allergic to are things that I grew up eating. And so just really distressing, especially because, it's the long list of essentially fruits, and foods that are supposed to be healthy. So as it stands now, I could never go on a vegan diet because I'm allergic to coconut and soy and hemp. And, it's just, I'd
Yeah.
like I'd like not to have issues with food so that I can be flexible. So if one day I don't want to eat meat, I don't have to worry about like not having enough protein and iron. So
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, those are really good desires. And I feel both of your needs and desires are attainable. Um, I've certainly experienced those things being resolved time and time again with the people I work with and clients and people in my classes. Food sensitivities will, gosh, the list will keep growing because they're rooted in leaky gut syndrome, and if that's not resolved, then more and more just keep developing over time. Weight loss seems to just kind of naturally balance when you reset your gut. Um, from one end of the spectrum, like my son and other young clients that I've had struggled to gain weight, and when they went through the introduction version of the GAPS protocol, they were able to put weight on for the first time and keep it on at a healthy weight. And then I've had many people who had extra weight, and it just kind of dropped off as they lost toxins and water weight and other things like that, and were able to balance their blood sugar and do a hormonal reset. And there's many different factors in weight gain, but we resolve a lot of them just by doing a gut health reset. So yeah, thank you for sharing. And yeah, I think we'll see as we progress that there's definitely a lot of hope for those scenarios. So let me get started with just talking a little bit about who benefits from the gut health reset. There's basically 4 kind of groups of people that I am focusing on. There's the health conscious people, and then there's people that are tired of their chronic illness. There's folks wanting to improve their well-being, and those with more, special issues that we'll get into. So health conscious people being those who just, want to lose weight and have beautiful skin, maybe strengthen after long COVID, and want to boost their energy and sharpen their focus and even have, vibrant sexual drive. Those are the group of people under the health conscious folks. Like Julie, who went through my GAPS class a few years ago, and she felt like she was 30 when she healed her leaky gut. And then there's the chronically ill people, those who are tired of their food sensitivities, their leaky gut, the bathroom issues like constipation and diarrhea. Oops, hold on. And SIBO and IBS and chronic fatigue and migraines would be in that category. And there's difficulty with being able to detox and being able to absorb nutrients. And Joanne was in this camp. She couldn't leave her house for bathroom issues for years. And she did a slow, careful gut health reset. And we lost touch because she was so busy in her life after that, and became kind of a crusader for gut health. And then there's mental health prioritization. The world events and COVID stuff would be enough of a contributor to our mental health dilemma. And then there's, your garden variety, depression, anxiety, brain fog, and mood swings. And these are all helped also. And then people with special issues like autism and ADD and Lyme disease and mast cell activation and mold illness and FPIES. And the previous GAPS class participant, Lisa, not too long after starting her gut health reset, her daughters were already showing massive improvements in their ADHD and autism. Then there's how it actually works. So the program that I've put together, we're tending to your digestive system because every cell in your body depends on that for its nourishment. So you're either nourished or not by your digestive system. And health starts in the gut. All systems of the body have these default settings for well-being and health. And that requires nutrients and good cellular communication. And the digestive system is like central to that. Here's a little bit about the results that you can expect. Naturally balancing complicated issues. I get clients with just a myriad of complex, seemingly unrelated symptoms. But what I love about a gut health reset is that it simplifies things. And certainly there are, targeted protocols for particular issues in the gut microbiome and particular arrays of symptoms, but we start simple and we build from that. And with that, we're able to often heal like whole families because tending to the gut is, can help mom's migraines, can help little Johnny's attention deficit disorder and dad's weight gain and so forth. So, and often adults feel a lot younger, and a lot of bathroom issues are ended. So here's a bit of a laundry list of things that my clients have resolved or balanced. Autism, SIBO, leaky gut, behavioral issues, food sensitivities, anxiety, depression, low energy, migraines, hypothyroid, too much or too little weight, acid reflux, heartburn, GERD, hormonal issues like PMS and Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, constipation and diarrhea, mast cell activation syndrome, mold toxicity, picky eating, chronic ear infections and allergies, eczema, dysautonomia, nausea, seizures, adrenal fatigue, chronic inflammatory response syndrome, arthritis, poor immune system response, FPIES, night terrors, active bone loss, ADHD, rosacea, acne, bloating, chronic fatigue, Lyme disease, co-infections, and more. So it's a lot that can be addressed. And if you were to take a moment to visualize what this could look like for you, what would it look like to be having the energy that you're wanting, and to have the clear skin, and to have a peaceful digestion? And if you've got kids with behavioral issues, to not be getting called by the principal or the teacher, having your kids eat what you put in front of them, because they have resolved their picky eating, and their gut pathogens are not ruling their taste buds, and having some clarity about what to eat, when, and what stage, and having food that tastes amazing. And Scotty, who is another GAPS class participant, found that how she felt on a day-to-day basis had to do 100% with what she ate. And she was able to lose 10 pounds and had so much more energy, and no more brain fog. Yeah, really hit home for her what she ate and how that made her feel. And Cheryl was able to stop taking Prilosec. We have a great module on basic digestive supplements and GAPS and gut health supplements in general. We tend to the basics, north to south digestion. And by understanding that, she was able to stop taking Prilosec and resolve her good, healthy digestive fire. And Gretchen was able to feel like a kid again in her body. Her digestion became strong and regular, and her skin was radiant, and her periods were regular, and she just felt so energized. So a little bit about what's actually included in the Gut Health Reset. So part of the program is an individual personalized piece, coming up with your best gut plan. So we take an hour and a half to dig into your health history, your emotional journey, your food journals. Hold on. Sorry, I've got somebody coming in. Preparation of looking at your symptom burden. There's a symptom burden questionnaire. And so we're gathering a ton of information, and we're taking a good hour and a half or so to dig into that. And I then give you your next steps. And there's the option to add in my basic functional lab testing. Across the board with most of my clients, we pair our GAPS protocol, or our gut health reset, with a comprehensive stool test and the MRT food sensitivity test. And the reason that I use those two tests is that even in a healthy gut healing reset program, there can be quote unquote healthy healing foods that you might be sensitive to. and they're going to slow down your healing process and give you inflammation. So we find out what those food sensitivities are. And with the stool test, we're able to find out what's going on in your unique microbiome and address what's there. Like, are you digesting properly? Do you have parasites? Do you have a bacterial imbalance, fungal overgrowth, you name it? So we find out a lot of information from that stool test. We address that while removing the food triggers that are causing inflammation, and we heal and seal the gut, and then carefully reintroduce foods like 3 to 6 months out as symptoms are, abating and we're progressing in the gut healing department. I don't make any money off the lab testing, but it does help me put together a really comprehensive approach to your gut healing work. So that's an option in addition to the gut health reset. And then woven throughout our work together is coaching on the resistance piece and the blocks that can come up to healing. That's a piece that can't be left out, the emotional component, the mental component. And it's been a game changer to bring in. I'm a certified journey code coach, and I weave that into my work now with clients. And then we follow up with a protocol after we do that health history and all of the optional lab testing. I put together an individualized protocol for you. We take a good 45 minutes to go over it, and there's follow-up email and text support for that first month. And then there's the gut reset curriculum, formerly called the GAPS class. So there's 9 modules. It's online, and you get to have access to all the materials on demand. That will be available June 29th. And there's just step-by-step, easy to follow information, tips and tricks. And again, 9 modules of information that covers every part and piece of doing a gut health reset. And in addition to the one-to-one work, you've got that library of online curriculum. And there's things on how to handle picky eating and common roadblocks, what to do with them, why the 3 parts of a gut health reset work together. So the 3 parts being diet, basic and targeted supplementation, and detoxification, and why they're all so important to be together. And then there's 4+ hours of support calls to cover your questions and help you integrate this into your life. And then there's cooking videos. A colleague of mine, we put together 18 gut health cooking videos to teach you all the basic foods that are required and how to make them. And by the way, all these food pictures are pictures I've taken of my own gut healing food. So can eat really, really well. So you might be wondering how this works in the summer and like why this might be a good time to do a gut health reset. And a few reasons would be that fresh foods are plentiful right now, and it's really important to be obtaining the ripest, freshest foods possible. That's going to have, codes. It's going to give your body messages that, foods that have been sitting in food trucks or supermarkets for weeks and they've traveled, thousands of miles or hundreds of miles are just not going to have. And so fresh, ripe, local foods are really awesome for doing a gut health reset. And then there are ways to eat, get in the healing meat stock in the summertime. Beyond just drinking a mug of it or having it in soups, you can have it mixed with, fresh pressed juices, summer soups. and homemade jello, things like that. There's a lot of different ways to get the required therapeutic amounts in. And then detox is just easier when it's sunny outside and there's fresh air to be sitting in, and the summer schedules tend to be more flexible. And it's really, really important to go into the fall and the winter with a strengthened, more robust immune system, which is what a gut health reset does. So here's the registration link. The total value is almost $3,000, but the gut health reset is priced at $997. I'm going to put this link in the chat. I'm going to stop my screen share, and then we'll go to a Q&A. 1 second. Okay. Okay, I've got that in the chat. So you've got that. And I'd love to open up the floor for any questions that you have.
So the total cost does not include the testing, the lab testing, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
So that cost, if you were to get both tests, about 335 for the MRT, and then about 350 for the stool test.
Okay.
Yeah. And that can be, spread out, or, we can prioritize one test over the other if you're really interested. And if you're really ready to go for it, I think this is something I've had some clients do, like a little mini fundraiser, or even put it on their credit card, because it's so transformative that it's
right.
worth
Wow.
it.
I've been waiting weeks for my tax return.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yes.
It hasn't come. But anyways, yeah, I was just double checking that was separate. So
Yeah.
why meat stock over like bone broth? I'm a bona fide provisions buyer because I hate making broth myself, just because of the time and the mess and whatever. So I can get it frozen at Walmart.
Yeah.
And I
Awesome
drink that.
question. Good. Yeah. So bone broth is appropriate down the line. But for the first 30 days, we do meat stock because of, well, one, it's gentler, and two, it's got lower amounts of amino acids that can be problematic when there's a leaky gut-brain barrier. So things like histamine are higher in bone broth and can be more excitatory, or more, if you've got histamine intolerance, it can be problematic to do broth in the beginning. So we start with a month of meat stock, and then you can, if you're doing well with that, you can transition to bone broth after that.
Okay.
Yeah. Great question. Can you remind me of your first name? You're showing up as Tom on your Zoom name.
Yeah, I'm on my husband's computer, Ruth.
Ruth, that's right. Yes. Nice to see you, Ruth. It is similar to the GAPS class in the online curriculum component. What's different is the one-to-one personalized aspect. So if you've already been through the GAPS class, we'd have a different arrangement for the one-to-one piece, if that's what you're interested in doing.
Yeah, I've been working with a naturopathic doctor to make a few changes, but I'm getting a little tired of so many supplements, and I really liked the meat stock and
yes,
all of that. And I think that was a real healing part of what I've been doing over the last many years. And so I thought going back to that now, it seems like appropriate time to continue on in my healing process.
Yeah, there's so much that can be done with therapeutic foods. Now, there's a case to be made for digestive supplements to make sure that you are breaking down and absorbing those healing foods that you're taking in. But beyond that, there's a lot that we can do simply on food alone.
Right.
Not to say that I don't use targeted supplement protocols for specific things that are going on for my clients, like a parasite protocol. But there's always more than one way to address just about anything. So there's simpler, less expensive options, and then there's more targeted, faster, pricier options.
I know.
Depends on what your scenario is and what your goals are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. So Ruth, a question I asked in the beginning that I'd love to hear from you. If you could have it any way in your health and life, what would be something you'd really like different?
I think for me, I had such a depleted energy level from what I've been through. My energy is coming back. I'd like to sustain and maintain and thrive in that energy instead of like going off of supplements and then sort of going downhill again. I want to do something that's going to keep me healthy. I feel as though I have a good idea of that. And I feel like I've made a lot of progress, but like I said, I want to maintain it and prevent like sliding back.
Yeah. And maybe be able to know what to incorporate to get things balanced again.
Right. To keep, I'm not quite at a full balance, but I improved so much that I feel like confident to say, oh, maybe I could go back to gaps again and move forward with that, because I feel like that sort of speaks to my
that's worth listening to. What you're drawn to from a nourishment standpoint. And I find that revisiting gaps, it seems to be more powerful each time, because you do gain ground every time that you do a round of a gut health reset. So if you've gone in a different direction or have taken a pause and you revisit it, it seems to be even more potent and effective.
It does seem to have a good healing effect. I find that resonates with my needs. I keep going back to it. I kind of keep going back to it. I have a freezer full of bones stuff, meat stuff to make my stock, and gardens are ready to pick things, and so it's a good time to, I think, start with it. So
awesome. Any questions?
I'm sorry I came a little late. I didn't realize all this.
That's okay, Trent.
All of a sudden it was 7:30. I don't know.
No worries. Trying to think of, well, I think you jumped in at probably the with what you've already experienced with the going through the GAPS class. The personalized piece might be the most useful for you. And so we could talk about that separately if that's something that is of interest to you. Therese, did you have any questions?
Right now I don't. I just need to kind of sort through whether this is something that I can do. I mean, $1,000 is a lot, and that's not even including the testing that would be helpful with it. So just having to think through resources and what I can actually do.
I'm going to stop the recording, and there's something I want to share with the three of you. I'll just take a pause on the recording a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, so weak coffee is an allowed food on full gaps, but I do recommend taking a pause from it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, any other questions?
So, to follow up on the coffee question, I'm not a coffee drinker. I'm a tea drinker. So is it the coffee or is it the caffeine that's the issue?
Good question. So coffee is definitely a stronger caffeine, and the acidity is a part of the picture too. Tea would be, tea is also allowed on GAPS, but I recommend during the GAPS introduction diet, if you're going to do that really intensive healing part, it's recommended that you just have herbal teas for that time period. And then you can transition back into the more caffeinated teas. Yeah. But it's not quite so harsh on the adrenals as coffee is. Yeah. And there's a connection between our adrenals and our blood sugar regulation, and they have a cascade of effects on our mood and our energy, and it can be actually a cause of like anxiety and things like that. So it's not benign.
Is there a set date that the reset starts, or is it like ongoing, like you can do whenever?
So the registration is going to close on Wednesday at 10 p.m. Access to the class will be open June 29th. And we're going to have live group calls. So July 5th would be the first call. And then July 19, August 2nd, and August 16 are the dates of the calls.
Okay.
So those will be beyond your individual calls. Those are group calls in which you get more time to be asking questions about how to integrate the materials to your specific situation, and hear what other, group calls will be recorded. Thanks for asking that, Trez. Yeah. Okay. Any last questions before we close up?
Thank you.
Well, it was really good to see your faces, Ruth, Kara, Trez. Thanks for showing up tonight. And
Thank you.
I would be delighted to work with any one of you. And let me know if any questions come up. Please feel free to email me, melanie@honestbody.com. That's MELANIE @honestbody.com.
Okay.